Today, I'm going to show you an example of a multifamily property for sale in Chicago. We're going to actually deep dive into it. We're going to take a look at how much income you can expect from it, how much you can expect to pay, and some tips to determine if this is actually a good deal or not. Let's go. All right, today we're going to take a look at a live example of multi-unit properties for sale in Chicago. So we're going to take a look on the online websites. We're going to see what's for sale, and I'm going to show you how I look at a property to try to see if it's a good deal or not, and how much money I'm going to need to buy the property. So let's start with looking in Chicago. All right, so now we got a little bit of everything. So property type, we want multifamilies. We want investment properties. So if you don't know anything about Chicago, let me give you a quick overview. So generally, the further north you get, the more expensive the properties get, and the further towards downtown you get, the more expensive the properties are. So, and here's a tip for anyone searching homes on these websites. Anything that shows pending or contingent means that that seller has already accepted an offer, so we don't want to look at those. So make sure you go to listing status and go to hide pending contingent. That way we can filter those out and we can see homes that are actually for sale. So let's see what we can find, and let's take a look at this multifamily property. 1530 South Spalding. Looks like it's in North Lawndale neighborhood. It's going for sale for $530. Let's see if this is actually a good deal or not. So let's look at the property details. Fully rented, leased through September 2024. Income generating property. All 3 floors recently updated and move-in ready condition. All right, so for those looking to buy their first 2 to 3 unit property, you're going to want to find something that has at least 1 vacant unit. That way you can live in the property and get better interest rates, because you get a better interest rate from your bank if you live in the property versus if you don't. So let's try to find one that has at least 1 vacant unit. But let's not go too expensive. So $750,000, that's kind of a lot of money. I mean, $2 million. Hey, if you got that, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to help you. But in the meantime, let's see what else we can find. All right, multifamily home for sale, $335,000. Let's check this one out. From the pictures, it looks vacant. All right, let's take a look at the property details. Beautiful gray stone building, highly desirable. Tri-Taylor / Home and Square area, okay. And let's see if we can find a little bit more. Multi-unit info. Bedrooms in unit 1, 3. Okay, so we got 2 3-bedroom units. The taxes are pretty low for the area, which is only $2,000 a year. If you know about the Chicago area, once again, that's pretty low. So it says unit 1 actual rent $1,600, and for unit 2 $1,257. So are these properties actually vacant, or are they being rented? Now that's the one thing that's always hard to find on these websites. It's always hard to see if they're actually rented out, because the pictures look vacant, but from the details, it says that it's actually getting rent. So in this situation, this is where you need a realtor like myself, because I could go straight to the MLS and kind of look up the details, and it'll tell me if the unit is actually rented or not. But for the sake of this video, we're just going to pretend like I'm not an agent, so you can kind of get an idea of what you can find on your own. So in this situation, we're going to pretend like this unit is vacant, so we can see if this is actually a good deal or something worth your time. Well, first off, let's check out the pictures. Let's make sure if it's something you even want. So it looks good on the outside. Everything looks brand new, renovated. Okay, kitchen looks good. Yeah, it looks like everything was brand new rehab, so you shouldn't have too many problems as far as the condition. Everything looks good so far. You've got, both units look like they're finished. All right, and the address, 3031 West Flournoy. I can never say that name right, but Flournoy. Let's take a look at the map, see where it is. So it looks like we're near Sacramento and Harrison. So, yep, this is Home and Square neighborhood, sort of sort of East Garfield Park, sort of on the border of like East Garfield Park and North Lawndale. Gotcha. All right, the first thing we need to figure out is what would the mortgage on this bad boy be? So to figure that out, or to get an estimate, I should say, all you have to do is Google mortgage calculator with taxes. And from there, you'll be taken to this website, very handy. So for the home price, let's type in the listing price, which is $335,000. Now for your down payment, your FHA loan only requires a 3.5% down payment. And for interest rates, let's look up to see what the interest rate is. So for that, I go to mortgagenewsdaily.com. So it says 30-year fixed loan is averaging about 7.19%. So let's type that in here. 7.19%. Now the property taxes, it has $4,100 in here, but if you remember, the property taxes were around $2,000, I want to say. Yep, 2063. Because, well, let's just put 2,000. But yeah, the property taxes are very important because it's a big chunk of your mortgage payment. So always make sure to pay attention to that. Your homeowner's insurance is probably going to be somewhere around there, somewhere around $1,200. Private mortgage insurance, that's already figured in. Homeowners association, we don't have to worry about that because this building isn't in an HOA. So from there, it would calculate your monthly payment for you, and you're going to be somewhere around $2,700 a month. Now that you know what the mortgage payment would be, your next question is probably how much money do you need to save up in order to buy this building? Well, I always recommend that you save up 6.5% of the purchase price. And the way I break that down is you're going to need 3.5% of the purchase price for the down payment, and you're going to need another 3% for closing costs. So for this one, for example, let's get a calculator. So for this example, let's get a calculator. Let's type in 335 and multiply that by 0.065. And you're going to need around $22,000 saved up in order to be able to purchase this building. So now that we know how much money we need to save up, and now we have a good estimate of what our mortgage payment would be, how much income can we generate from this property? Now, it does say on here that, one unit is generating $1,600 and one unit is $1,257, but that info isn't always going to be there. So what's a good way to figure out how much income you can get? So what I do in these cases is I look for what similar apartments are selling for, and So what I do in this situation is I look up what similar apartments in the area are renting for, and anyone can do this by simply going to Zillow and seeing what's out there for rent. So you would want to, since looks like both of these have 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom units, just look for what 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom units are renting for in the same area. So I like to go by zip code, so 60612. So let's go to Zillow. And let's go to rent. And let's type in 60612. Now let's go bedrooms and bath. Let's go 3 bedrooms and let's use an exact match. And let's also go 1 bathroom. Now, I would like to get as close to the area as possible. So I know we were south of 290 and we were around Sacramento and Harrison. And I can't find a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom. That's a little annoying. What about these? These are all 3 bedrooms, 2 bath. Okay, this one's a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom. Next, click on it to make sure it's a similar condition to yours. So this one also looks like it's been renovated recently. So this one's pretty clean, and it's going for $16.95 a month. So you got 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom. It's generally the same. So just to be on the safe side, I would say Yeah, I would say 1,600. So you should be able to get 1,600 for each unit, which both units are 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom. Since there are 2 units, if you multiply 1,600 by 2, you get 3,200, which sounds like a pretty good deal to me since the mortgage is only 2,700. So that means if you can rent both units out for 1,600 a month, then you actually have a positive cash flow, which, if you know anything about Chicago, that's hard to find in just a 2-flat. So that sounds like a pretty good deal to me. This also means that if you were to live in this property and live in one unit and rent out the other, it'll actually be cheaper for you when compared to just renting out a similar apartment. Because if you rent out a similar apartment, your rents get for $1,600 a month. But if you buy this building, the mortgage is $2,700 a month, and you get $1,600 back in rental income from the other property. That's why I love 2-flats. Last but not least, I know some people are gonna ask, what about the location? Is this a good area to buy rental property in? Well, as far as Chicago as a whole, you're gonna have a hard time finding a place where it's actually hard to rent. Rental demand in Chicago is very strong, so pretty much no matter where you buy, as long as it's not overpriced or the rent isn't too high when compared to the rest of the area, you shouldn't have a problem finding a tenant. Now, as far as the location and it being a location that you like, it's different from person to person. So some people are like this for area, So for instance, this one is on the west side of Chicago. Some people are very comfortable with the west side of Chicago. Some people are not. So it's up to personal preference. If you're not sure about an area, what I recommend is that you simply drive by that area at night. If you feel comfortable in that area at night, or you feel comfortable getting out of your car, then you should by all means look into that neighborhood. But on the other hand, if you feel uncomfortable getting out of your car, or you want to get out of that area as fast as possible, there you go. And that's really all there is to it as far as finding a 2 to 4 unit property in Chicago. Just simply estimate what your mortgage is going to be, estimate what your rental income is going to be, and see if it's a good deal for you or not.